The Germans. The Germans, man. The Germans are here. The Germans are here, man. You see, I believe I'm right in saying that Germany are, I think, the probably one of, if not the best performing team at World Cups. So when you just look at in terms of just how well they do at World Cups, so 4 wins and the amount of times they've actually either been a beaten finalists or been to a semi-finals, they are they are literally the very epitome of World Cup royalty, footballing royalty. So Germany are one of those teams where anytime that they go into a World Cup, they're expected to say what's up. They're expected to say what's up. But this year's a bit tricky. This year, I think, is going to be a little bit tricky for Germany and their chances of really saying what's up. But as we do with these profiles, we take a little trip down memory lane, man. So this was significant. This was real significant here because this was the 1974 final. And you have to understand that the thing about the 1974 World Cup final is everybody thought Netherlands were going to win. This was the Cruyff team. This was the team that played this total football. And these are people that were introducing sort of like a footballing philosophy that everyone thought would pretty much change the course of the entire game. And yeah, and this is the team with Neeskens. I think, yeah, Neeskens was I think one of the guys who was really at the head of this whole total football kind of thing, but really Cruyff, Neeskens, this whole Dutch team. And nobody had ever seen anybody play the game that the way they played. So really, this was Pep, tiki-taka, Barcelona before Barcelona. So coming up against West Germany, boom. I remember seeing a documentary with, I think it's Breitner, and Breitner, I think, is one of only two players to score in two World Cup finals. The other one obviously being, who he is. So I remember Breitner saying that, when they just saw how Netherlands were playing, they were like, these guys are just passing the ball for the sake of passing the ball. So they didn't really understand the kind of philosophy. They said, wait a minute, you're trying to get the ball center the fish. They said, what are you trying to do? And I think this was significant because if Netherlands had won this World Cup, I feel that just like when Barcelona won that UCL in on and out, or when Spain won in 2010, it could have perhaps influenced football, because if Netherlands had won, I really do feel many teams around the world would have tried to sort of copy what Netherlands were doing and say, oh, maybe this is how we have to play football. But the fact that West Germany won, guys were like, well done what Netherlands did, but at the end of the day, we have to play for football the traditional way, And again, that clutch man, Mr. Gerd Müller, maybe it's a horseman, coming in with that clutch G. And of course, he got the winning G just before halftime, man. So that was 74. Now we come to 1990. So obviously they had to wait until 1990, but also you have to keep in mind 86. So this was, now unless I'm wrong, I believe this is the only time where the same two teams have played subsequent finals. So 4 years prior in 86, Argentina beat West Germany. So 4 years later, the same two teams were engaging in this finale, and I think this was obviously a very rough game. This wasn't the most glamorous final, but West Germany, they got their revenge. They got the revenge against Argentina, a team that they lost to narrowly, and they were able to say what's up, winning that World Cup in 1990. So with that, you felt, okay, Germany are back to being a force, and especially with guys like Rudi Völler, with Klinsmann, and Klinsmann really being the young emerging talent. It was saying, what, this guy's going to say something, so bring on America, bring on 1994. We are going to be worthy defenders of our title. So many people felt with West Germany now, well, coming into, because I can't remember when it was. Let's see, the fall of the Berlin Wall. So the Berlin Wall. Interesting. So the Berlin Wall fell on the 9th of November, 1989. So maybe they hadn't really divided things a bit, because they were still called West Germany. Unless I'm wrong, I believe they were still called West Germany in 1990. I'm pretty sure we the course was Germany in 1990. Because I think it was 1994 where they became Yes. Yes, West Germany, yes. So maybe I think that it took maybe a few years before Germany became unified between the West and the East. So obviously coming into the 94 World Cup was when Oha was the first we now saw Germany as a unified nation. So like 94, roll on, let's see what's up. This was a massive shock. It was a massive shock. Obviously, this was the one. I think that's Lechkov, the guy with the bald patch there, and of course, the Hristo Stoichkov dude, man. I think he's racist. But yeah, Germany losing to this was Germany, and guy, that's kids. Man, Germany have some kids, man. I won't lie. I won't hold you. Germany have some kids. So losing to Bulgaria, they got pimped. Well, but yeah, I mean, it was shocking because Bulgaria, these guys came out of nowhere, and for a team who made the final in '86, who won it in 1990, to lose to Bulgaria, a team that literally came out of nowhere, it was a massive shock. So guys were like, okay, wait, what the hell is this? So guys, okay, they say, okay, you know what? Fine, we got caught on our wares, we got caught with our pants down. Give us another 4 years to regroup, recoup, and then we'll be able to say what's up. So don't worry, 98, France, come on, France, je suis, comme ci, comme ça, comme ci, comme ça. Another L. And again, another shock by one of the surprise teams of the tournaments, that's being Croatia. But yeah, I think that's Bierhoff. And what made this even more shocking, 2 years prior, who wins the Euros? Germany. So Germany were coming in here as European champions. So this was really a case of like, what in the hell is happening? So back-to-back shocking World Cup exits against opponents that you'd expect a team of Germany's might to say what's up against. It was shocking. It was truly, truly shocking. So what's the saying? Once is an anomaly, twice is a coincidence, 3 times could be a pattern. So what happens 4 years on? Now there's something prior here. So Germany didn't qualify automatically. They had to go through the playoffs. England won the qualifying group. So coming into this, so when you just look at what happened to them in 94, what happened to them in 98, and the fact that they got pimped by England in the qualification 5-0 in Germany, guys are like, okay, maybe German football is really going through something difficult here. So coming into this World Cup, nobody was looking at Germany. But slowly and slowly, obviously with another emerging talent of Ballack, they were cutting through guys, and very quietly without anyone noticing, because all eyes were on Brazil, Italy, Spain, and of course what South Korea were doing. But quietly they were saying what's up. And this man right here, who was at this point the best, well, it was between him and Buffon, but I think at this point in 02, I think it was established, because I think Buffon really came into his own years later. But at this point in time, I think it was accepted that he was the best keeper in the world. And Oliver Kahn was having an incredible tournament. So, of course, the players wanted to say what's up, but arguably Germany's most important player and key player was Kahn, because Kahn was having an incredible, amazing tournament. And he was pivotal and hugely crucial in getting Germany to a final. So this was really the time in which people said that, never bet against Germany. Even when they're down and they seem the most unlikely is when they're the most dangerous. So they got to the final. And unfortunately, they ran into Brazil. And you see, I watched the final recently. I watched it about some months ago. It was a close game. It was a close game. This was the case of Brazil just totally beat them and just outperformed them because they just had the better players. It was a very close game, and Germany had their opportunities, but it was a close game, and there were moments in the match in which Germany dominated and controlled. And I think it's also unfortunate for Kahn. Obviously, it was hard for him to do anything with, I believe it was the second goal, but it was that first goal. I don't know whether it was the first goal or the second goal. Is the one where Rivaldo, Ronaldo wins the ball. I think it was the first goal. I think it was the first goal. Wins the ball, gives to Rivaldo. Rivaldo takes the shot, but Can parries it right into the path of Ronaldo. Ronaldo puts the ball in, and obviously the other goal was just Ronaldo passing it into I think it was the bottom right. Thing of beauty, but for Can, it was like he had such an amazing World Cup. Like if Germany had won the World Cup, 100% Can would be voted player of the tournament. 100%. And obviously, it didn't really help that another one of the most important players, Ballack, didn't make the World Cup final. And Ballack had a crazy year. One of the most unluckiest years. Because this is when Ballack played for Bayer Leverkusen. So in that year, they were leading in the German league. They lost that. I think they lost the DFB Pokal Cup final. They lost the UCL final. And then he got banned from... So he got suspended because he got a yellow card in the semi against South Korea and saw his team lose the final. So to see your team lose, I think... Basically, just to lose on all fronts, it was literally one of the most unluckiest here for any player, I think, ever. But yeah, for Kane, it was unfortunate, man, that he had been so perfect, and of all times to make a mistake, having to make a mistake in the final, it's hard. But for Germany, it was like, hey, look, we lost, but here we're back, and against all odds, we made that final. So this was the emergence of something new. This was Germany rebuilt. And this was Germany coming into a whole new era. So this was 2010. So this was obviously years after they obviously hosted it in 2006 with that amazing semi-final. It's like, again, because I've got to mention that semi against Italy, for me, it is if someone said to pick what is the best match you've ever seen, just in terms of just a football match, that is the best football match that I've ever seen. That's Germany-Italy semi-final in 2006 is the most amazing football match I've ever seen in my life. And seeing that live was an amazing experience. So Germany said also played 2006, but I think 2010 was I think, because really 2010 was, you saw the introduction of guys like Mola, guys like Ozil, guys like Khedira, guys like Boateng. So because there was a real concerted effort to really put more investment in youth teams and really work towards having a really strong team, not only for one club, but to really build a generation. And for me, they were one of the best teams. And for me, they were the best. They were the most entertaining team. So Germany puts 4 goals past Australia. They put 4 goals past England, and they put 4 goals past Argentina. So they put 4 goals past 3 different teams. So they were superb. They were amazing. But I think this game came too soon for them, because you're dealing with a Spain side who had already... So remember, this is the same Spain side that beat them in the Euros in 2008, but I think it was Spain's time. I think for a very, very young German side, it was maybe a bit too early for them to say what's up. But they were so good, so entertaining, so amazing to watch. Everybody was like, man, what is this young crew? What is this young, new, exciting generation? What are they going to do in 4 years' time? I'll tell you what they're going to do. This will go down as one of the most infamous games we've ever seen. I think I'll probably go into it much more in detail in Brazil, because I think it's much more about what's happened to Brazil than Germany. But I think once Germany did this, guys were like, it has to be their year. Because I kept saying to myself that you can't throw down 7 goals against Brazil and not win the World Cup. You can't do that. And I think, when you just look at this German side, people talk about Brazil, about how bad they were, Fred and Joe, and just how useless they were and so forth. But Germany were amazing. Remember, this is the same team 4 years prior who put 4 goals past... They put 4 goals past 3 different teams. So we saw 4 years ago how dangerous they were. And this is just a culmination. Now, a culmination to a very extreme degree. But as shocking as it was, we did see seeds of they are capable of doing something like this. And yeah, they completely and totally ripped them a new one. They totally and completely ripped them a new one. And you saw that young generation of guys like Khedira, Cruz, Bart Simpson, Muller, Ozil really come to the fray. Because obviously Closer was obviously in '06. And also, this was the World Cup and the game in which Closer broke the record for having scoring the most World Cup goals, and a record that he still holds. And they closed the deal. Because see, I feel in this final, sort of in this World Cup, I think everybody wanted Messi to win this, and everybody felt that this was Messi's time. So the narrative was how Messi will win it. It's for Argentina. Messi will do something crazy. But Germany were like, okay, that's all cool, but we're not here to go via the script. We're here to write our own script and our own story. And you look at this Germany game, I think there were two standout performances: Boateng and Schweinsteiger. Schweinsteiger and Boateng were awesome. They had an amazing performance, specifically deep in extra time. And Boateng was key in keeping Messi quiet. And yeah, man, he may not have had an amazing career. He may have underwhelmed. But what an incredible goal. And it still stands as the best World Cup winning goal we've ever seen. An absolutely amazing piece of goal by Götze. And yeah, man, it was deserved, because I felt that when you just look at what Germany did in that World Cup, how well they played, what they did to Brazil on home soil, and how well they played in this final, 100% they were deserved winners. They were fully deserved winners. And I think this is one of those rare moments where the team that looked the best and played the best football won it. Because there are times where I feel the team that wins the World Cup is the best team, but they don't necessarily the team that plays the best or most attractive football. But this is one of those where the team that played the most attractive football, that was easiest on the eye, ended up winning the World Cup. So they were truly deserved winners of this World Cup. And I think, this was really a culmination of what happened, of building up this generation. So it was like, what started at that 2010 World Cup with this new young generation culminated in this victory up in 2014. So we move on. Things didn't get great. 2018, shocking, them losing to Mexico. And I think that's for Germany, okay, wow. But now, if you lose a game, it's fine. You can easily get it back and so forth. But Germany were like, no, surely we cannot face the World Cup winners' course. But it was a very exciting game. I remember I watched it in a pub, and Mexico, the way they just counted them like crazy, and Germany could not deal with the amazing counter-attacking qualities of Mexico, and Mexico really they got that ass. They really got that ass. But Germany, okay, fine. We have to now say what's up in the next game. I think this is definitely one of the most iconic moments, but it's sort of softened because of what happened afterwards. But this was literally like last few minutes. Sweden are holding on for a draw. Germany need a win. They need a win for them to stay alive. And free kick, one step, pull back, one step cross, puts it in there. Just look at this shot. When you just look at this shot here, that is an iconic shot. That's just an iconic football shot. Because look at just the angle where he's from, and Cruz can just see, boom, it's in. And just the feeling he must have had of just seeing that ball in there must have been freaking amazing. But as good as that was, and amazing as that was, because you'd feel like, because this should have been a moment where, wow, Germany looked back on that and said, man, this is the moment that we really just made it through the groups. But the reason why it's not that remembered and it fades away in memory, despite it being an absolutely incredible goal, and it's one of the best clutch goals ever, life comes at you fast, Life comes at you fast. And not only did they lose to South Korea, go out in the groups, I believe they ended up bottom in the group. This was the first time that VAR was used. This was the first World Cup using VAR, and I think this was the first time that VAR was used to really decide if a goal was scored, man. So this was shocking. This was the first time in Germany's history that they never made it through the groups. This was the worst performance by Germany ever, and this was a new low, a new shocking low for Germany. So something that, okay, things have to change, man. Things had to change. And that they did. You see, so Flick has actually been in the German setup for a long time. So he was part of the coaching team that saw them win the World Cup 2014. They did on the right. Some people call him a ball sniffer, which he may be. Sort of said, you know what, maybe it's my time to sort of step down and allow someone else to come in and now say what's up, which is what he did. Oops, sorry. So yeah, which is what your boy did with Hansi Flick coming in. But I think they needed something new and they needed something fresh. And I think that is why Hansi Flick was so very important. So now we fast forward to now, and I think Germany are going to miss a core, and that's spine. Because I think with any successful team, you need a spine, and this was a huge spine of Klose, the finisher, Schweinsteiger, the guy who controls the midfield, and Bart Simpson, the captain, the leader, and the guy that really brings the defense together, but brings the entire team together. So it's also a perfect spine because you see the attack in Klose, the midfield in Schweinsteiger, the defense in Bart Simpson, but also the defense, but the leader and the captain. So, and I just feel like how much will Germany miss these very crucial bits, and are there any players that can fulfill their roles? I think that there's a player that can come close to fulfilling Schweinsteiger's role, but as far as Klose and Bart Simpson, not too sure. And also, yeah, I've always said this, Klose looks a bit like Martin Sheen, if you know the actor. But here he is, man. Winning a treble with Bayern Munich, one of the most impressive trebles ever. And I think that, because Yogi Löw, the guy doesn't know what he was doing. So he just comes in with a whole new outlook and a whole new breath of fresh air that I think is very much needed for Germany and Alamagni, man. And I think, which is why I think there's some people that, even if hopes may not be too high, but because he is in charge, like, oh, no. This guy knows what he's doing. And we have to have faith in what your boy says. I rate the guy. I still think he's amazing. I still think he's superb. And I still think that he has a lot of quality. Yes, he'll make mistakes. Yes, he may have bad games. But what he's able to do at the speed in which he can do it and the kind of ability he has on the ball makes this guy an extremely dangerous player. And I just feel like if he owes us a truly amazing tournament, and I feel that there is an amazing tournament waiting there for my boy Leroy Sané. I think this guy's amazing. I think the guy's really amazing. And this is why I said that this is probably the only guy who can maybe fill in that role that Schweinsteiger has, because just an extremely smart player, a superb smart player, and a guy that would get into any midfield. There is no midfield in the world that this guy would not get into. And he's going to be crucial. He's going to be very important because they say a lot of games are won in the midfield. And him playing a key role in that midfield, which is what he did for Dortmund, what he did for Man City, is going to be very important for Germany, man. Mbappe was the star of the World Cup. We saw what Pele did in 58. We saw what Ronaldo did in 1998. All very young players. I feel this is a stage that Musiala can really flourish. This is his breakout season. Because last season I was like, okay, we saw him, but we just saw him in sports and so forth. I think this season he's been amazing. He's been Bayern's best player this season. He's been so superb. And I feel that this is, I think, a tournament in which this guy can truly just explode. This guy can just truly explode and be truly amazing. So for me, he is definitely a player that I'm watching for to see what he will do. Can Germany win the World Cup? Yes, because it's Germany. Do I think they will win the World Cup? No, because I just don't feel like if they have enough, I don't think the team is talented enough or good enough as a whole to say what's up. And I don't have a lot of faith in that defense. That defense doesn't fill me with a lot of faith. But with that being said, just as people said in 0-2, the 0-2 team wasn't very good, but they found a way to make it to the final. This team, I think, is maybe more talented than the 0-2 team. Some really good talents, but I don't think they're. This team is nowhere near as good as the 1990 team, the 86 team, the 74 team, or the 06 or 2010 or 2014 team. But it's still good. But there's still some talents there. But I feel that as much as I don't think Germany will go far, and Germany may not even make it through the groups, you do not, I repeat, you do not bet against Germany.